happy Diwali. Wishing everyone a prosperous year, a year full of success. Hopefully some exciting aha moments along the way. And speaking of aha moments, today we're doing a deep dive into E2E Networks.
Oh, interesting.
It's an Indian company.
Okay.
Listed on the NSE. And they're really making waves in cloud computing.
Okay.
Particularly when it comes to, everyone's talking about AI these days.
Right, AI.
So that's what we're going to be looking at.
It's fascinating how E2E Networks is riding that wave of AI. They were founded back in 2009.
Okay.
And they've really kind of carved out this niche for themselves.
Yeah.
By focusing on the infrastructure that powers AI and machine learning.
Right.
All those GPUs that everyone's talking about.
Yeah, those GPUs. So for our listeners out there, let's kind of paint a picture here.
Sure.
Imagine you're trying to teach a computer to recognize a cat in a photo.
Okay.
It seems simple enough, right?
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, there are millions of calculations happening.
Yeah.
To analyze the shapes and the colors and the patterns, that's where these GPUs come in.
Right.
They're like supercharged processors designed to handle these massive parallel calculations way faster than your traditional CPU.
Yeah, much faster. Think of it this way, A CPU is like a single chef trying to cook this really complex dish with tons of steps. A GPU is like having a whole team of chefs working in parallel, each one handling a very specific task.
I like that analogy.
So that parallel processing power is what makes GPUs ideal for AI and ML.
Makes sense.
Which often involve, huge data sets and complex algorithms.
Yeah. So instead of one chef meticulously chopping veggies, we have a whole team prepping and sautéing and plating at lightning speed.
Exactly.
And E2E is providing access to these GPU powerhouses through their cloud platform.
Right.
So they're making it easier for companies to really tap into this whole AI revolution that's happening.
Yeah, democratizing AI, that's the idea. And what's really interesting is that E2E recognized this potential of cloud GPUs for AI and ML pretty early on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they pioneered this in the Indian market back in 2019.
Wow.
Long before a lot of other companies caught on.
So they were ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
They saw the writing on the wall. But let's not forget the elephant in the room, or rather the AI in the room.
Right.
Generative AI, or Gen AI.
Gen AI, yeah.
This technology is revolutionizing everything.
It really is.
From writing to art to even scientific discovery.
Yeah.
Where does E2E fit into this whole Gen AI explosion?
Well, they're right at the heart of it. They understand that Gen AI requires massive computing power.
Right.
And they're providing the infrastructure to fuel those applications.
Yeah.
Remember all those trillions of dollars in projected market value we talk about?
It's mind-boggling.
E2E is building the platform that's going to help unlock that potential.
Wow. Now, you mentioned earlier that E2E has carved out this niche for themselves.
Right.
What makes them stand out in this really crowded cloud computing market?
Yeah.
Because you have those big players out there like AWS and Azure.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a competitive landscape for sure. But E2E differentiates itself in a few key ways. First, they're laser focused on these AI and ML workloads.
Okay.
They're optimizing their platform specifically for those types of tasks.
So they're not trying to be everything to everyone.
Exactly. They're specialists.
Yeah.
Focusing on what they do best.
Okay.
And their expertise is really evident in their tiered Gen AI platform. It's this user-friendly platform that makes AI development and deployment so much smoother.
Okay, so break that down for our listener. What makes TIR so special?
Okay, so imagine you're an AI developer and you're building a new model for, let's say, image recognition.
Okay.
TIR simplifies that whole process. It gives you all the tools you need in one place. Packages open source frameworks, makes it easier to start building, and it streamlines all those tasks like training your models, fine-tuning them, even deploying your model.
So it's like a one-stop shop for AI developers.
Exactly.
Removing a lot of the headaches.
Yeah.
And complexities that can come with building these sophisticated models.
Right.
And how does this open source approach give them a competitive edge?
Well, it's twofold. First, it allows them to offer more competitive pricing.
Okay.
They're not locked into these proprietary software licenses, which can be really expensive.
Yeah.
Second, it gives them this flexibility. They can tailor their solutions to specific customer needs, leveraging this vast and constantly evolving world of open source AI tools.
So it's like being able to customize your toolkit as the technology evolves.
Exactly.
Rather than being stuck with this one-size-fits-all solution.
Yeah. And speaking of evolution, E2E has been busy rolling out these enhancements to the TIR platform.
Okay.
They recently added things like training metrics tracking, which allows developers to monitor the model's performance in real time. Integration with platforms like Wanbi, which is an industry standard tool for visualizing and analyzing AI experiments.
Gotcha. So they're constantly improving and innovating.
Absolutely.
Making sure that TIR stays ahead of the curve.
Yeah, they even added things like the ability to continue training from previous checkpoints. So, saving developers valuable time and resources.
That's great.
It's clear that they're listening to their customers and responding to their needs.
Yeah. And all this must be having a positive impact on their bottom line.
Right. I would think so.
Let's talk about E2E's financial performance. What are the numbers telling us?
Well, the numbers are definitely encouraging. They've been experiencing significant year-on-year growth in revenue from operations, and their EBITDA margins are really turning heads in the industry. So it seems like their strategic focus and commitment to innovation is really paying off.
So we've covered their origins. We've talked about their niche focus, their platform, their financial performance.
Yeah.
Now let's look ahead.
Okay.
What's the outlook for E2E?
Sure.
What kind of growth are they projecting?
Well, they're aiming high. They're projecting growth of 40% to 50% over the medium term. But they've also acknowledged that this growth might not be perfectly smooth.
Sure.
Due to things like, capacity build-out timelines, the global supply chain for GPUs, all those things can play a role.
Right. They're not operating in a vacuum. External factors can definitely have an impact.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of which, how are they handling these challenges of scaling up their operations to meet this really ambitious growth target?
Well, that's where their strategic CapEx plan comes in.
Okay.
They've outlined this ambitious plan to invest heavily in expanding their infrastructure over the coming years, which is a clear sign of their confidence in the future demand for their services.
That's a bold move. It sounds like they're really putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
But how exactly are they funding this expansion?
Well, they're taking a multi-pronged approach, utilizing a combination of internal accruals, debt financing, and vendor financing. And while they've hinted at a potential equity raise in the future, they haven't committed to anything specific yet.
So they're keeping their options open and staying agile.
Yeah.
Which seems to be a recurring theme with E2E. They're adapting and adjusting their strategy as needed, which is crucial in a market as dynamic and fast-paced as AI. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before we dive deeper into their growth strategy and the challenges they face, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll explore how E2E is differentiating itself from those global giants. And what their success might mean for the Indian tech ecosystem and the global AI landscape. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about E2E's ambitious growth plans.
Right.
And how they're navigating the financial side of scaling up. It's clear they have a lot of confidence in the future of AI. But let's zoom out a little bit and look at the bigger picture here. What does E2E's success tell us about the Indian tech sector as a whole?
Well, it's really an exciting side, I think, of the growing strength of the Indian tech ecosystem. It shows that, Indian companies can not only compete with, but even outmaneuver these global giants in this cutting edge field.
It's a real challenge to that traditional view of India as, mainly an outsourcing hub.
Right.
We're seeing this shift towards innovation and product development.
Absolutely.
With companies like E2E kind of leading the charge.
Yeah, for sure. And, this shift is happening. Thanks to a few key factors, I think. India has this vast pool of incredibly talented engineers and data scientists.
Oh, absolutely.
A rapidly growing digital economy and, a government that's increasingly supportive of the tech sector.
Yeah. So all the ingredients are there for India to become a real powerhouse in AI.
Yeah.
E2E is a fantastic example of what's possible.
It is.
But of course, the global AI landscape is, fiercely competitive.
It is.
So what are some of the hurdles that E2E might face as it expands?
Yeah.
Particularly internationally?
Well, one of the biggest challenges, I think, is going to be maintaining that unique edge in a market that's just getting more crowded by the day. You have both established hyperscalers and nimble niche players all kind of fighting for their slice of the AI pie.
So how can E2E stay ahead of the pack? I mean, is it simply a matter of investing in the latest tech, expanding their platform? Or is there more to it than that?
It's definitely more nuanced than that. I mean, they need to continue nurturing those strong customer relationships.
Right.
Stay at the forefront of AI innovation, attract and retain top talent in a very competitive market.
Right.
And of course, there's the complexity of expanding globally, adapting to different market dynamics, navigating diverse regulatory landscapes.
Those are some serious challenges.
They are.
But, E2E has shown this real knack for adapting and overcoming obstacles, their open source approach, their customer-centric philosophy, and their agile business model have all been key to their success so far.
Absolutely. And, and let's not forget, they're operating in a market with just explosive growth potential.
Right.
So if they can successfully navigate these challenges, E2E has a real shot at becoming this global force in AI cloud computing.
It's an exciting prospect.
It is. But, let's not also lose sight of the potential impact on the supply chain for GPUs. E2E's ambitious growth plans, along with just the surging demand from all these AI-focused companies, could put further strain on that already tight supply of these really crucial components.
That's a great point, because we've seen how supply chain disruptions can really shake things up across industries.
Absolutely.
And the hunger for GPUs is only going to intensify in the coming years. So this could mean higher prices, longer lead times, and, maybe even a potential slowdown in the pace of AI innovation itself.
Right, exactly. And it's not just about, getting hold of the GPUs themselves. It's also about having the infrastructure in place to support these powerhouses, data centers, cooling systems, high bandwidth networking. It all adds up.
Yeah, it's a massive undertaking.
It is.
So, E2E's success isn't just about their own strategy and execution.
Right.
It's also tied to these broader dynamics of the global semiconductor industry.
Absolutely.
It's a really fascinating interplay of factors, and I'm eager to see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, it's what makes this deep dive so captivating.
Yeah.
We're not just looking at a single company or a single market. We're really exploring this convergence of technology, economics, and even geopolitics, all within this rapidly evolving landscape of artificial intelligence.
It reminds us that, the worlds of business and technology are really intertwined in ways that we might not always appreciate, as we've seen with E2E Networks. A company operating in India can create ripples felt worldwide. What stands out to you in all of this? What's resonating most with you about E2E Networks' story so far?
I think for me, it's their bold vision and their commitment to staying agile in a really rapidly changing environment, They're not afraid to challenge conventions and carve out their own path. And that's incredibly inspiring.
I completely agree. And it underscores the importance of, understanding these broader trends and connections.
Absolutely.
Whether you're an investor, an entrepreneur, or just someone who's fascinated by the future of technology, keeping an eye on these developments can give you some really valuable insights.
It can.
Yeah, it really is amazing to think about how a company like this operating in India can have this global impact.
Yeah.
Really highlights how interconnected our world is, especially in the tech sector.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that innovation can emerge from anywhere, and that companies like E2E Networks can really disrupt these established industries, challenge the status quo.
Yeah, their story is a real testament to that power of, focusing on a specific niche, building those strong customer relationships, and staying agile in the face of constant change.
Absolutely.
But as we wrap up our deep dive into E2E Networks, I want to leave our listener with a final thought to ponder.
Sure.
Given E2E's ambitious growth strategy and India's potential to become a real major player in this world of AI, what could the implications be for the broader Indian tech ecosystem?
Yeah, and how might this impact the global AI landscape in the years to come? What role will companies like E2E play in shaping the ethical considerations?
That's a great point.
And potential societal impacts of these, rapidly advancing technologies.
The conversation we need to be having.
Yeah.
As AI becomes increasingly integrated into our lives.
For sure.
E2E's commitment to open source and transparency is a promising sign.
It is.
But it's a responsibility that's shared by all stakeholders in this AI ecosystem.
Agreed.
But for now, we've reached the end of our deep dive into E2E Networks, and I encourage you, our listener, to continue exploring E2E Networks and the broader trends we've discussed today.
Absolutely.
delve deeper into their financial reports, read what the media is saying, maybe even experiment with their TIR platform firsthand.
Yeah.
Who knows? You might just uncover your own aha moment or even discover the next big thing in this ever-evolving world of AI.
It's exciting.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into E2E networks.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it as insightful and thought-provoking as we did on Anvil.